What's up, my opulent opal apples? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we're going to be asking some very uncomfortable Warframe questions. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with a recent community post that I made asking you guys what kind of content you wanted to see next, and the overwhelming response was how to fix Warframe. Now, I do have a video coming up on that very soon, and I don't think it's exactly what everybody is expecting. However, to kind of tie into it, I did want to do a little bit of a temperature check. So I'm actually going to be asking you guys some questions that I often ask on stream. In fact, speaking of my stream, since it seems to be a little bit of a hot topic lately, I actually wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that all of my Twitch broadcasts are now public, so that you can go ahead and get the first-hand experience yourself, instead of relying on curated 3-year-old clips of me to decide that matter. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump on in with a couple of the softer questions, then they slowly and progressively get a little bit more and more uneasy. In fact, I was supposed to do this video drunk, but I kind of fell asleep because I was tired from work, and now it's like 3:40 a.m. So we missed that mark anyway. First question: are you currently actively playing Warframe? If so, what is keeping you logging in? And most importantly, do you feel rewarded for your time? Now, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm trying to log into Warframe, but like I had stated earlier, I've been really busy with real life work lately. I mean, things have been kind of going really amazing there, and I'm like, all right, let's keep it pushing. So I want to spend my time with the things that make me happy, and legitimately, work is really feeling quite fulfilling. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to log into Warframe. I kind of go back in and I check out exactly what's going on. Like, we got that newest set of mods, the augments that came out, and I kind of looked at them and I was like, are these worth talking about? Is any single one of them really worth making like a super dedicated build towards? And I was like, no. So really the only thing that makes me want to log in at this point in time is Scarlet Spear, and trying to kind of, I guess, round out my collection of arcanes. I've already accumulated like a whole bunch of points in it. So for me personally, I'm not actively logging in. I'm just kind of slotting it in where I can, and not super duper often. Now, when we talk about the last little bit of that, do I feel rewarded when I log in? Legitimately, the answer is I feel slightly rewarded, but if Scarlet Spear wasn't going on, I don't think I would feel rewarded whatsoever. Like, beyond finishing focus trees, which I've already done, there's really not too much to do in game aside from pushing up all of the Kuva weapons. Like, most recently I hit Mastery Rank 29, and technically I still have 2 Kuva weapons that I need to push up all the way in order to get full mastery out of, but beyond that, there's really nothing left. And also, I mean, I could push those Kuva weapons to get, max damage out of them, but really, what are we fighting that is worth pushing up the damage of that? Aside from, being denied ephemeras from RNG, there really isn't much of a reason for me to log in aside from Scarlet Spear. So let me know, are you guys coming in? Because I know that there are a lot of people out there that actually watch the channel that have not played Warframe in quite some time. And that's, I mean, thanks, but also it seems like maybe there's something that Warframe is missing. Now, to kind of go along with that, we're going to move on to our second question. What upcoming feature that DE has shown are you the most excited about? Now notice, I had to underline that DE has shown, because honest to goodness, I get a lot of like responses, well DE might do this, well DE might do that, DE said they're gonna bring back raids. And I'm like, I gotta underline, what has DE shown recently that is like, exciting you to come back? Because like Protea, the new Warframe, does not necessarily feel all that exciting. I get it that there's going to be some new lore for the Corpus in an upcoming event, I believe in May, but at the same, or is it April? I don't know, I think it's tax season, something along those lines. But I know that that's coming out, but as you guys know, I'm not a big lore junkie. Like, like I've stated before, tell me what I need to shoot at and tell me what you're gonna give me for shooting at it. And then later on, you know, if I decide to kind of like chillax, I'll go, you know, watch a lore video or something about it, because legitimately I just came to the game for the explosions, right? I am kind of waiting. I think the only thing that DE has shown that I am excited about is the finale of the new war, right? I want to know exactly what's happening with Lotus. I know y'all had a lot to say about my last reaction video to that. But legitimately, I want to see how it all ends. I want to see how it all works out. Do we kill her? Do we save her? Please let us kill her, because she's trouble. And let us kill Ballast too, because I guess he's an issue. And Era. Just boom them all. Boom them all. Like, I don't know what the story is really about, so I can't be too accurate about that. The only thing that I am excited about, and I guess this is violating my own rules, is to see what the fuck Plains of Duviri is. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this is actually going to tie into a future question, I don't even quite think the DE knows what Duviri is going to be. I don't know what Duviri is going to be, but the fact that I'm the most excited about something that I have no clue what it's going to be is kind of not that great in the state of the game. But what are you guys excited about? Moving along. Oh, so I said those first two are like softball questions. Now we're going to get into the really rough ones, huh? Wow. Okay, so number 3. Every game has a shelf life. And Warframe has been going on for over 7 years now. Do you feel that Warframe has peaked in popularity? If you do, when do you think it peaked? Now, as many of you guys are aware, like, every game will go on for a while, then after a while it'll kind of taper off. There are certain games out there like WoW who has definitely been able to hold strong. I mean, it's not as, I don't know, I haven't run the numbers on it, but I don't think it's thriving as much as it used to be thriving. We have underground cult classics like, what is it called? Oh my god, what's the one where people literally build like businesses and nations and like really super duper expensive ships? Is it EVE Online? I think that one has like an underground cult following that a lot of people are super duper dedicated to, and that's been going on for a while as well. And I think that Final Fantasy 14 had a little bit of a resurgence because they went ahead and redid a whole bunch of their systems. But me personally, I feel that Warframe kind of peaked in Plains of Eidolon. Like, when Plains of Eidolon launched, I think that was where we had the most fanfare, like the most genuine fanfare. And we're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so cool. And then we got Plains, and then after that, the popularity dropped because we realized it wasn't everything that we hoped and dreamed for. We're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so great. And then I think that it slowly might have gone up a little bit more with Fortuna, but then it kind of dropped off again. Like, I don't think Railjack was able to bring a whole lot of people back. I don't know. I don't necessarily have the numbers, but me personally, when I felt the most buzz, when I felt the most excited, was at the launch of Plains of Eidolon. I kind of feel bad, and I don't really want to say this, but it has been 7 years, and I don't think Warframe has hit that kind of like mainstream success that other games literally some reason just slip into and just kind of like all of a sudden blow up, right? I don't think that Warframe has ever blown up, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe they should take a different path and start kind of like pushing towards the whole EVE Online kind of like area, right? Because I think like if you can't win in one space, maybe win in another space. But if we're asking if Warframe has peaked in popularity, I think that it's peaked in mainstream popularity. And I think that, you know, over time it might gain cult popularity. Let's just put it like that. Here's the thing that I'm actually going to tack on to the end of this question, which is also going to be extremely uncomfortable. If we're saying that games have a shelf life, how much longer do you think Warframe has? I know. I listen, that one just came off the cuff. And like I was saying, I think that if they keep trying to push for mainstream popularity, that they're going to falter and it's going to drop off. But I feel like if they kind of push for that cult following of like EVE Online, I think that they can make it go for at least like, you know, a good 3 to 5 more years. All right, this one is also a pretty intense one. Many YouTubers and streamers that cover Warframe tend to feel a bit trapped and even burnt out sticking to that same content. And trust me, I know how it feels, and any other Warframe content creator that has covered Warframe knows you kind of get stuck in it, right? And you can't break out of it. But do you feel like the development team is exhibiting these same qualities? Now, the reason that I ask this is because, you know, we have Warframe as kind of like the main game. You know, the combat, the ground combat, as they like to call it. Then they tried to introduce Arcwing. You know, they wanted to introduce the space to space ninjas, right? And I'm like, oh, so they're trying to go for like a flight sim kind of thing going on over here, right? And like that didn't necessarily gain the biggest fanfare, and I do have to say I thought it was stupid for them to introduce it. Then I fell in love with it. Same thing goes for Railjack. I actually really do enjoy Railjack, but it did not receive, you know, like, here's the thing. I like Railjack, but I like Railjack when I'm not piloting the Railjack, right? But as you can see, they're kind of like trying to pull in different genres into the game in order to maybe develop. It's like they're developing other games within Warframe. And in addition to that, do you guys remember the Amazing Eternals when they tried to develop their own Battle Royale? Is Battle Royale, right? I don't know if that's the right term. I don't understand these gaming terms. I just shoot things and they explode. Like, you can see that they're always consistently trying to branch out and do a lot of different things. Like K-Drives, like, did we need SSX Tricky? I get it. Some people have fun with it, but I don't think that it's, you know, it was necessarily worth putting in that much development time into. In addition to that, we got Shazwin. Really? We're trying to make Guitar Hero in Warframe? And I feel like these are DE's attempts to make a different game, but still have it be Warframe because they know that their main success is Warframe and that's what they're trying to build their empire around. But because they can't go and do other things, they're kind of stuck in here. And I personally think that that might be because, like, you know, and maybe it sounds weird because it's from a content creator perspective, it's kind of like you get stuck in a rut. And I feel like that's where DE has been for a while. They've been in a rut. They tried some things, but at the end of the day, I think it all just feels kind of rutty. So I don't know. Do you guys feel that the development team is feeling trapped and burnt out? Let me know how you feel. Now 5. This one is a hot button topic. Actually, I guess all of these are kind of hot button topics, but do you feel like Warframe marketing oversteps their bounds? And how does it affect your experience in the game? A lot of people were talking about this with the last TennoCon. And we consistently see a lot of things that still have not made it into the game. Right? There's a lot of things that they drop at TennoCon. They're like, oh my god, look at this. The hype. Everybody get excited. And it's cool to get excited. It's nice to share that experience with a large group of people. But then you also share the disappointment of it not quite turning out the way that you wanted. I mean, we had Squad Link shown to us, right? And it took them this long in order to give us Scarlet Spear, which is Uplink, right? And it's not exactly what's, you know, Squad Link was shown to be. It doesn't behave that same way. And it also dealt with Kuvaliches in Railjack. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a make it or break it to have Kuvaliches in Railjack, but that was something that was kind of shown off in like, oh my god, look at this cool thing that we're doing, and then it never gets done, right? So it builds up all of this artificial hype that's not even there. And a part of me is like, yo, marketing, I get it, you want to put on a show, but here's the negative part of it. Warframe then has 2 different departments. The marketing department that wants to build the hype, than the development team that's like, yo, but how we gonna do this? We made a demo that works, but how are we actually gonna implement it into the game, right? Marketing's like, oh, we'll put it in, we'll figure out, we'll have a Railjack flying in to pick you up from Fortuna. Where was that? You know what I mean? And so part of me is like, oh, we're going to be working on a new player experience and we're going to, change Mags 2 to reflect what the new player cinematic looks like. Has that been implemented? I feel like marketing is really pushing the development team into doing things that are not necessarily feasible because they want a spectacle. And a part of me is like, yo, I mean, when you hear Steve talk about Railjack when it was first launching, he was like, listen, I don't want you guys to expect more than X, Y, and Z. He was really, it sounded like he was trying to lower the bar of expectation, right? But over and over and over again, we're like, oh, it's going to swoop in from space, it's going to pick you up, you're going to have a crew. We still have yet to see the command intrinsics, right? You're going to have this crew that you're going to be able to, grab from, with Cetus, you're going to be able to grab from Fortuna, you're going to be able to hire from your syndicates and bring them in. They'll have different effects on your Railjack. What? I mean, maybe marketing, don't tell them what they're allowed, and you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not marketing that's putting this all out there, but I mean, very clearly, there is a multimedia department that is literally pushing this stuff out. And who's excited about possibly getting sent to space? Raise your hand if you remember that campaign where they're going to give you $250,000 in order to fly up a Tenno up into space. Is that something that you really feel strongly about? Do you think that that's something that they should have invested their money into? Or maybe should they have put that money somewhere else in the game? Let me know how you feel about that. But most importantly, when these features do not make it into the game, how does it make you feel? Me personally, and this just comes from me working at like a lot of jobs, I believe very strongly in, oh, you say this is going to happen, but I'll believe it when it's actually in front of me. And that's just kind of been my reality, from working an adult professional job. I'm like, oh, you're saying that this is going to be a thing, but, until it's actually there, physically, tangibly in my hands, I'm not going to believe anything that you say. So me personally, I've kind of been able to temper my experience with that. So I look at TennoCon and I'm like, okay, we'll see how much, they fool me once, fool me twice, I'm not gonna let you do that. So those were the 5 questions that I want you guys to go ahead and answer. You're currently playing Warframe. What keeps you logging in, and most importantly, how do you feel if it rewarded your time? What upcoming feature that DE has shown are you the most excited about? Do you feel Warframe has peaked in popularity? If you do, when do you think it peaked? Do you feel that Warframe developers feel trapped and even burnt out just doing Warframe? Because you have to remember, the Digital Extremes is a company that used to do and work on a bunch of different games. Now they're very much stuck into Warframe. And last but not least, do you feel like Warframe marketing oversteps their bounds? I hope that this will kind of enlighten you to how you feel about the game, and hopefully you'll let me know and enlighten me as to how you're feeling too, because this is a community thing. It's not just one person's perspective. So I want to see where you guys are standing on that, and I'll pull some of this information into the how to fix Warframe video. So toss all your feelings down in the comments below, unless you're trying to start some shit. Remember, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Anyway, so that about does it for me for now, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. But most importantly, don't start no shit. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!